Bless you, dear viewers. I'm Dr. Thomas Waters, and may you live 100 years. May you pass unhurt through fire and water. May the gates of paradise be ever open to receive you. That's a genuine early 19th century Irish blessing, the sort of thing that beggars used to say to gentlefolks who threw them a coin or two. But it's not blessings that I'm here to talk to you about today, and hopefully set you on a path of researching for yourself. It's their opposite. Curses. More specifically, Irish curses. Now when I say Irish curses, I don't mean ordinary swearing, profanity, and four-letter words, feck, arse, and the rest. That's good fun, but the type of cursing I want to introduce you to was much wittier, as well as more memorable, frightening, ritualistic, theatrical, and artful. It was cursing in the sense of maledictions or dark prayers, calling for terrible pains to smite evildoers. May you wither up by the fire of hell, soon and sudden. May the flesh rot off your bones and fall away putrid before your eyes, and the hearthstone of hell be your pillow forever. That sort of thing. Let me give you another. A curse pronounced by a Catholic priest from County Clare in Western Ireland in 1851 to warn his parishioners against sending their children to the newly opened Protestant school. Imagine hearing this before Mass. Any persons sending their children to this school, may they be struck blind and deaf. May they be pained, both sitting and standing. May their crops and their goods be taken away by the devil. This type of cursing is, like most forms of magic, very widespread. You can find it throughout the world and trace it back through history to ancient times. But I think the relatively modern history of Irish cursing is particularly important because it can really help us to clear up some common misconceptions about the nature and cultural significance of magic and the supernatural. You can find this misconception all over the place, in some of the more old-fashioned academic books on the history of magic, in general histories and non-fiction books that briefly dip into the topic, and also in the writings of secularists, old and new, the new atheists today. It's the impression that magic is fundamentally primitive, vulgar, crude, ignorant, and a simple thing most at home in the long, distant annals of human history. Whether or not you think that supernatural powers really exist, and for the record, I'm more in the sceptical camp, this not just damning but also overly dismissive view of magic just isn't right. For one thing, Irish curses were complex, virtuoso even, and ultimately part of a vernacular art form that was difficult to master. There were rules. Firstly, that curses only fell on those who deserved them. If not, if the victims weren't guilty of the crime or taboo they were accused of, the curses went back on the senders. This built-in morality was what distinguished curses from plain old witchcraft, evil magic, and pissogs or pishogs, as they were known in Irish, that people were thought to use, and sometimes did, in an effort to bring bad luck to their neighbours. The second rule of cursing was that curses fell more strongly and quicker when the victim was silent, as if struck dumb. Saying anything, even something incoherent, nullified curses a little bit. But a witty riposte could, it was believed, turn them back on the sender. For example, a cliché curse like "bad luck to you" invited the obvious reply, "good luck to you then, but may neither of them ever happen." To stop this happening, to achieve the required effect, curses had to be long, original, complex, and clever. You might think about it as being a bit like a magical rap battle. The third rule of cursing was that curses were more powerful with rituals. These rituals varied depending on who the curser was. Beggars brushed dust from the soles of their feet, as Jesus had told his disciples to do when they were shunned. Blacksmiths used their anvils. Widows fell to their knees in public, sometimes even held crucifixes aloft, while looking to the heavens and bitterly beseeching the Almighty to rain down just retribution. Priests cursed in many ways, but one of those ways was to solemnly stand at the altar in front of the congregation before Mass, with a great church Bible in front and incense burning and candles flickering. More generally, anyone who wanted to lay a particularly powerful curse or sometimes a blessing could search out special cursing stones like these at Black Lion in County Cavan, which is just over the border in the Republic of Ireland. Does this sound easy? Do you think you could pull it off sufficiently to sate your need for revenge? To terrify someone into changing their ways? Because powerful curses did have real effects. I don't mean magically, but psychologically and culturally. Targets were sometimes sent mad or put off from buying farms which the old evicted tenants had prayed the widows or orphans' curse over. Cursing was widespread in 19th century Ireland. Sometimes it was joshing, but it was deadly serious for widows fighting predatory landlords, priests intimidating voters in the struggles for Catholic emancipation and Irish Home Rule from Britain, and beggars trying to survive in a land beset by exceptional poverty, particularly but not only during the Great Famine of 1845 to 51. This culture of cursing left traces in lots of sources that we can use today to kind of recover it and to learn about it. These include antiquarian writings, folklore records, particularly those of the amazing Irish Folklore Commission, newspapers and journalism, archaeology, travel writings and art. So I've tried to argue that magic's more sophisticated and artful than its detractors are prone to admit, and that it sometimes figures prominently in modern history in critical areas of life, conflict and struggle. Now, to take it over to you, to hopefully edify you and to bring you on as a researcher, thinker and writer, I've got an exercise. First, I want you to find, locate and unearth 3 Irish curses. One from the 19th century, one from the 20th and one from the 21st. You can find them anywhere you want, but I suggest that you start by getting on the wavelength for what kind of language they employ, by using both the examples in this video and more broadly the examples that I've written about in the attached paper, which is about 9,000 words long and concerns the history of cursing between the 1750s and just about the present day. This will help you work out what to search for. You should definitely look at the online resources of the Irish Folklore Commission, based at University College Dublin, which is a magnificent source for this and many other aspects of social history. You could also try the advanced search functions of archive.org and Google Books, as well as antiquarian publications that are available in both of those repositories and on JSTOR. For the 21st century curses, you can try social media as well as searching through newspapers. When you've found your 3 curses, I want you to write about them, answering the question, what do these curses reveal about the history of magic and the history of modern Ireland? About 150 words on each curse, please, plus a short conclusion or introduction, your choice depending on which you think best articulates your overarching thoughts. May you succeed admirably.